Welcome to the deep dive, and specifically, welcome to Chat Like a Native.
Great to be here.
So today we're actually focusing on something that came directly from one of you listening. You reached out, shared some email drafts, some really interesting articles too, about assertiveness, cross-cultural stuff.
Yeah, it was great material.
And what jumped out really was this habit over-apologizing, especially in professional emails.
It's so common, isn't it? That little word sorry creeping in everywhere.
Exactly. So for you, and honestly for anyone who feels their emails maybe don't sound quite as confident as they feel inside, we're doing a deep dive today.
Yeah, we're going to unpack why we do it, what kind of impact it actually has, sometimes surprising, and most importantly, give you some real practical alternatives, ways to sound assertive, clear, but still, polite.
Absolutely. It's not about being rude, just clear, confident. So if you've ever hesitated before hitting send, or you just want to sharpen up your professional English, make it more impactful.
And this is definitely for you. We want to help you truly chat like a native.
Let's get into it. Where should we start? Maybe the why. Why do we do this so much?
Yeah, let's start there. Because, it usually comes from a good place, right? Yeah. We want to be polite. We want to show empathy, maybe avoid bothering someone.
Right. Like in person, if you bump someone, you say, oh, sorry. It just smooths things over. It's like social grease.
Exactly, a social lubricant. We learned it early on. Sorry is the polite word.
But then you put it in an email, and it's like, something shifts, doesn't it? It doesn't quite land the same way. Why does it go wrong in writing?
It really does change. In writing, those apologies start to carry more weight. And often it's triggered by, uncertainty. Maybe you're not sure about your request, so you soften it with, sorry to bother you, but...
Or you feel like you're imposing, like, sorry for the late reply. It feels almost automatic sometimes.
It is almost a reflex for many people. Or maybe there's that fear deep down of offending the person you're emailing.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor.
Right.
And just habit. Plain old habitual politeness. Maybe tied to cultural things, too, where, being deferential is really emphasized.
You're spot on. All those things play a role. And the tricky part is, those good intentions, they can actually sort of chip away at your credibility without you even realizing it.
How so? Like, what's the actual damage?
Well, think about it from a communication psychology angle. Studies actually show that using too much apologetic language can make you seem less competent, less like a leader.
Really? Just from saying sorry too much?
Yeah, it's subtle, but instead of coming across as just courteous, you might accidentally signal that you're hesitant or that you lack confidence in what you're saying or asking for. It subtly changes how people perceive your authority.
Wow, okay. That's kind of alarming. So these little sorries are doing more harm than good, potentially. What else? What are the other unseen impacts?
Well, the big one, as we touched on, is it weakens your authority. If you're always apologizing for making a request, even a perfectly normal one, why should the reader think it's important? You sound unsure yourself.
That makes total sense. You're basically telling them it's okay to ignore it, almost.
Pretty much. And another thing, it distracts from your actual point. If you lead with an apology, the reader's focus goes to your feeling your sorriness instead of the key information or the action you need them to take.
Right. They're processing the apology, not the request. It's like a detour.
Exactly. A subtle misdirection.
And I can definitely see the power dynamic thing in teams or with clients. Constantly apologizing makes you seem, less valuable. Like you're always asking for permission instead of contributing confidently.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It creates this imbalance where you seem to undervalue your own role or input.
And practically speaking, just makes things less clear, right?
Absolutely. Direct language is just faster to process. People scan emails, unnecessary words, especially apologies, slow them down, and can muddy the waters. Clarity suffers.
Okay, but we need to touch on the cultural side here because this isn't a one-size-fits-all thing, is it? Directness means different things in different places.
Oh, absolutely crucial point, and often overlooked. The goal is respectful clarity, not bluntness. What's perfectly normal directness in, say, German business culture might feel really abrupt in parts of Asia.
Right. Like in Japan, maybe. You wouldn't just say, I need this now.
Probably not. You might soften it like, would it be possible to receive this by Tuesday? It's still clear about the need and deadline, but the phrasing is more indirect, reflecting a higher context communication style.
So it's about being smart with your assertiveness, matching the context.
Exactly. Cultural intelligence. And even within, say, English-speaking cultures, context matters. An email to your startup teammate might be super direct, very fast. The same words to a senior executive in a big traditional company. Might need a bit more framing, maybe more formal language.
So you got to read the room, basically, or read the inbox.
Pretty much. Observe how others communicate in that specific setting, your team, your client's company, and adapt. Be effective and respectful. It's about the relationship, the hierarchy, the whole context.
Okay, this really helps frame the problem. We know why we do it, the impact, the cultural nuances. So let's get to the solutions. The assertive email toolbox. How do we swap out those sorries?
Right, the practical bit. Let's replace that apologetic stuff with something stronger. Requests and follow-ups are a big area for this.
Oh, yeah. Guilty as charged. That. Sorry to bother you, but opener. What's the fix?
Just drop the apology, go straight to, could you please? It's polite, it's direct, it works.
Simple.
Yeah.
Effective. Okay. What about delays? Sorry for the delay in getting back to you.
Try this instead. Thank you for your patience. Here is the update. See the shift? You acknowledge they're waiting, but frame it positively with gratitude, not apology.
Thank you for your patience. I like that. It sounds much more professional, empowering even.
It is.
Okay, what if you do need something that might be inconvenient? That feeling of, ugh, sorry, I know this is a pain, but I need.
Cut the preamble. Just state the need confidently. I need, and then explain clearly if you're just checking in on something.
Instead of, sorry to interrupt, just checking on.
Try. Could you provide an update on? It's proactive, it respects their time by being clear, and it doesn't diminish your right to ask.
These definitely feel stronger. Okay, but sometimes you actually do need to apologize, right? Like if you messed up, missed a deadline, made a mistake. How do we do that without falling back into the old habit?
Great question. Because genuine apologies are important for accountability. So if you missed a deadline, instead of just, I'm sorry I missed it, which can sound a bit weak,
Yeah.
try something like, thank you for your understanding. I will complete the task by new specific time date. You take responsibility, show gratitude if they've been lenient, and immediately offer the solution.
Okay, so it's about accountability plus action, fixes the problem.
Exactly. It's solution-focused.
Yeah.
Same for confusion. Instead of, sorry for the confusion about the report,
You could say,
let me clarify the report details. You're taking ownership of clearing things up.
okay. And if there's a genuine error, like wrong numbers, instead of I apologize for the error,
You could state it factually. I noticed an inconsistency in the figures. Here's the corrected version. Again, direct, identifies the issue, provides the fix immediately. It's about solving the problem, not just dwelling on the mistake.
these are really useful pivots. What about offering alternatives? That often comes with a, sorry, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, ditch the sorry. Go straight to the solution. I'm available at these times instead. It keeps things moving forward.
Right, and if you have to miss a meeting, instead of just, sorry, I can't make it.
How about, I'm unable to attend, but here are my suggested discussion points. Or, I'm unable to attend, but I've asked a colleague to share my input. You show you're still engaged and contributing, even in absence.
That's so much better. It focuses on what you can do, not what you can't. Powerful shift. Okay, what about expressing regret more formally without sounding apologetic?
Yeah, sometimes you need that nuance. You could use phrases like, I regret, or even frame things around appreciation. So instead of, I'm sorry we can't meet in person, I regret that we won't be able to meet in person, it conveys the same sentiment, but sounds more formal and less self-diminishing.
Okay. And the classic, sorry for any inconvenience.
Flip it. Try, I appreciate your flexibility, or thank you for your understanding. It acknowledges the situation positively, focusing on their cooperation, not your supposed mistake.
That's a really neat reframing technique. Okay, last one. Closing the email. I know I sometimes throw in a final sorry again for the trouble.
Haha, you and many others. Just replace it with something like, thank you for your cooperation, or thank you for your patience and understanding. It ends on a confident, respectful note.
This toolbox is amazing. Seriously practical. But knowing the phrases is one thing. Actually using them consistently, that's the hard part, especially if sorry is your default. How do we make this stick?
Yeah, it definitely takes conscious effort and practice. One really effective way is the draft then edit approach.
Meaning?
Write your email like you normally would. Then before you hit send, specifically scan it just for words like sorry, apologize, maybe even just sometimes, or other hesitant phrases. Then swap them out using the alternatives we talked about.
Like a little proofread specifically for apologies. I can see that working. It helps you spot your own patterns.
Exactly. And related to that, build a phrase bank. Keep a list of these assertive alternatives somewhere, handy phone notes, a document, whatever.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Precisely. Eventually, they'll become second nature. Another thing, peer feedback. Ask a colleague you trust, maybe someone whose communication style you admire, to glance over an important email draft.
Like, hey, do I sound apologetic here?
Yeah. Ask them to flag any unnecessary sorries. A fresh perspective is often really revealing.
That's a good idea. A bit vulnerable maybe, but helpful. What about just practicing?
Definitely. Role play in your head, or even type out practice emails for common scenarios, asking for information, setting a deadline, rescheduling. Write the sorry version, then rewrite it assertively. Feel the difference.
Okay, yeah. And you mentioned reading emails aloud.
Yes. Reflect on tone by reading your draft aloud.
Yeah.
Does it sound confident? Does it sound respectful? You'll often catch awkward phrasing or unintended weakness just by hearing it. It's surprisingly effective.
Such a simple trick. Okay, so if we put in this effort, what are the big payoffs? What benefits can we really expect?
The benefits are pretty significant, actually. First off, enhanced clarity. Your message gets through without the noise of apologies. People know what you need.
Makes sense.
Second, you gain greater respect. Assertiveness signals self-respect and respect for the other person's time. It projects competence, like we talked about earlier.
And I imagine things just move faster, improved efficiency.
Absolutely. Clear requests, direct alternatives. It cuts down on confusion and back-and-forth emails. Big time saver. And maybe the most important thing, especially for listeners working on their confidence, it genuinely leads to increased confidence. As you practice communicating more assertively in writing, that feeling starts to bleed over into other areas. It builds self-assurance. It helps you really, chat sleet like a native.
This has been incredibly insightful. It's clear that breaking this over-apologizing habit, while maybe a bit challenging at first, is so worth it. It's not about being rude or aggressive.
Not at all.
It's about being clear, precise, confident, respecting yourself and the person you're communicating with.
So here's the takeaway thought for everyone listening. The next time your fingers hover over the keyboard about to type sorry in an email, just pause for a second. Ask yourself, what do I really want to say here? What's the core message?
And how could changing that one word, sorry, to something else, maybe thank you or just nothing, how could that change the whole impact?
Exactly. How might it shift how the other person sees the message and maybe even how you see your own professional self? It's a small change, but it can be really, really empowering.
Definitely. So we really encourage you, try out some of these phrases. Notice how it feels. Notice the responses you get. Practice is key here for building that confidence in your English communication.
Couldn't agree more.
Thanks so much for diving deep with us today on Chat Like a Native, part of the Deep Dive.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time for another exploration into confident communication.